Hey folks, this is Avish Parashar from BeFunnyAsASpeaker.com, and I'm here to share with you an idea. I was having a conversation recently about what's the difference between a comedian and a humorist, and how is that different from someone who just wants to use humor and add humor to their presentations. And this might just sound like a semantical argument, just using words. However, it can make a big difference in terms of how you prepare, what your goals are, what the client is looking for, and how you market yourself when you go to talk to people. So I'm going to share with you my definitions and what the difference is. This may be different from the straight dictionary or from how some people are billing themselves at. But if you use the definitions I'm talking about, most people understand the subtle differences, even if they can't articulate them. So number one, a comedian is someone whose primary goal is to make the audience laugh. That's their only objective. They're not really there to try to teach the audience anything, to make them think, to give them lessons. I mean, sure, some comedians like to be political or religious or talk about smart stuff so they make the audience think. But the client's not hiring them to, hey, make our people think about customer service. Like, nope. If you're a comedian, if you're billing yourself as a comedian, your number one and only goal is to make that audience laugh. The second one is if you're a humorist. Now, a humorist's primary goal is to make the audience laugh. That is still your number one goal. However, you have a secondary goal, which is to convey some information to the audience. It could be like in my case, I bill myself as a motivational humorist because my goal is to make the audience laugh primarily, but it's also to motivate them and give them some ideas they can use in their businesses or lives. So as a humorist, you have a second goal. What that goal is could depend on the client. It could be to teach something about customer service, sales. It could be to motivate them. It could just be to make them think. But that's the difference in a comedian and a humorist. So figure out which one of those two you'd like to be. Is your goal just to make people laugh, or do you want to make them think and laugh? If you're on this site, which is Be Funny as a Speaker, chances are you'd prefer to be a humorist because your goal is not just to be a comedian and make people laugh. So be careful about how you introduce yourself to potential clients, and also be careful about how they bill you. I really tell people not to bill me as a comedian. Now, I do straight comedy stuff, but that's not when I'm going into a corporate client or an association keynote that I'm trying to do. And once, years ago, before I even started doing a lot of this kind of stand-up comedy stuff, people billed me without telling me as a comedian. And this was like 5 years ago. But people walked out of there kind of disappointed because they're expecting someone who's just going to make them laugh. Now, I made them laugh, but I also talked about to my topics, and I think it was a weird topic on integrity they want me to talk about. I don't know. This is what you do when you're a speaker. Now, you maybe look on this site not because you want to be a comedian, not because you want to be a humorist, but just because you want to add humor to your presentations. You don't want people to necessarily bill you as being funny, but you want to use humor because that'll make you more engaging, and that's fine. But then don't bill yourself as a comedian or a humorist. You could bill yourself as a high-energy, funny speaker, or a speaker who uses humor. Just be a little bit careful with the language. The techniques on this site can help you in all three, but frankly, they're geared mostly towards the last category, which is how to be funny as a speaker, how to add humor to your presentations, and to help people be a humorist if that's what you'd like to be as well. You can use a lot of techniques on here about being a comedian, but since we talk about telling stories more than telling jokes, this is not the best place for straight comedians to come to learn. But if you're a comedian who wants to learn how to be a speaker, well, this is a good place for you. So comedian, humorist, or just someone who adds humor to their speeches. Subtle differences, but it can make a difference in how you bill yourself, how you talk to clients, and what's expected of you once you take the stage.